Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we're going to be making this fantasy unicorn, and we can either make it masculine or feminine, and feminine would be more of the style that appeals to girls, and masculine would be more of a style that appeals to boys. Here's a more of a masculine one here where I didn't add the flowers, but even though whether you're a girl or a boy, here's another masculine one. If you want to make the flowers, go ahead, because I always tell my students, this would make great gifts. You want to think about giving your art as gifts to mom, grandma, even neighbors that you care about, that live near you. Maybe you have a elderly person in your neighborhood that would just smile from the art that you make. And this is going to be really beautiful. We're going to take several weeks to finish this. So you decide if you want to add these flowers to it. I love all the flowers and nature. Even if you want to do just leaves coming out here with bugs, bees, butterflies, that kind of thing. There was one, here's one over here that I designed that's more masculine. And I put little frogs. This is supposed to be a frog down here, like a tree frog. So boys, you can use your imagination on what you want to add to this. So let's begin. To start off this unicorn design, if you look at the paper, here is the top of the paper, and a little bit of this goes off the page right here. So I'm going to show you the bottom of the page. It's just right here. So if we find our center, and I went just, I'll show you where my center is. The center's right here. And I went just diagonally up a little bit, and then I started with a circle the size of my index finger, the pinky of my index finger here. So we find our middle. I'll show you what to do. So once you find your middle, you're gonna jump diagonally up just a little bit. And I'm going toward the corner. And I'm gonna jump diagonally up, and I'm gonna start a circle. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and do a circle the size of my fingertip. If you make the circle too small, that's okay, because this will be colored in. So we're going to just lightly color this in. Right here, like so. Now we're going to start the rest of the eye. If you take your Sharpie and place it on the top of the circle, and we're just going to go slightly diagonal, not real straight up, just kind of off to the side just a little bit, and then this side we're going to swoop down. So I'm coming diagonally down. Now I'm going to skip a space and do it's almost like a donut. We're going to make this the whole of the donut, and we're going to make a ring right around the donut. Try and make it as evened as you can. Mine's a little lopsided. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You can even just correct it by adding a little bit of Sharpie to this to make it a little bit wider. But if it's off from mine a little bit, it's not going to matter much when we add all our lines. Now I'm going to get this a little bit fancy here, so I'm just going to swoop down. Just kind of curve down a bit. Now we're making the back side, so I'm going to come out a little bit more, or actually the bottom side of the lid, and I'm bringing this right up to the bottom of the eye. So we formed the pupil and then the iris. So this is the actual area where we would have the color inside the eye. So now I continue bringing this up and around. The two odd triangular shapes on each side are the whites of the eye. And this forms the lid. So if you take your Sharpie and just kind of smooth this out to a nice curve and then curve up, this will form a lash, slight curve up, and a smaller one. This forms the eyelash. Now some kids like to even swoop it around and make it curly-Q. Let me show you on this eye here. If you want to swoop it around and add some curly-Qs on the ends, you know, you can use your imagination here, but that's up to you, and you can even do that later on. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to jump, just imagine we're coming down diagonally swoop it down to the edge of the page. And I think, yeah, you can see my edge. So I'm taking this and I'm just going to draw a diagonal line down, and where it comes to the edge of the page, I'm going to place my finger, and I'm just going to put a line. That's where the nose is going to end. Now I'm going to come up and around, and then I'm going to come around here. So for this, I'm going to come up and curve in. Now I'm going to be coming above the eye. So then if I take this and do 3 fingers above the eye and put a mark, now I'm just going to simply bring this down to here and connect. This area is going to be where the horn is going to form, and we're going to go toward the corner, but we're not going to end at my corner. Let me bring this down so you can see. Right here. Yeah, I'm in the picture plane now. So this is where the horn will form. And the horn you can do in swirls, or we can just do a straight line. So that's up to you. But to sketch out the horn, I'm just going to give an end part. So from my corner, I'm going to just jump over about 3 fingers because I don't want it to end right at the corner. And I'm going to make a mark, and that's where the end of my horn will be. And then I'm going to just come down and down. Now here, I've turned the horn into these kind of spirals. So if you want to just swirl it down, and it's a diagonal. Come down. I'm kind of making it a curve, rounded here. Down. And I'm getting bigger as I come down. Now I'm going to put 3 circles for 1, 2, and 1 up a little bit higher for the flowers at the top. And then I'm going to come out and back, curve out, and then I curve back. These are flowers that are pointed, curving out, and then curve the opposite way. Curving one way, curving the other. So you can make pointed flowers, or if you prefer, you can do rounded petals like this, and where they attach or touch the other, have it go back and overlap. So I've made some rounded petals. You can come back and even do another layer around these petals to make it a little bit more decorative. And even a smaller one in between here. And this stuff you can even do on your own later. And now the third one, I'm just going to do just some kind of free-form petals coming out here. And I'm having it go behind here. So 3 petals or flowers. And now I'm going to do an ear. So I'm going to come up kind of in a curve and not touching the top of the page. And then I'm coming down and curve it around. Right back to the flowers. And now I'm going to do a bigger ear here, up and back. This is a wider opening. And then I'm curving over. So I'm coming down and over. Now this is going to form some mane, and we're going to do a very spiral mane. So I'm going to come from this ear, and I'm going over and down, and then I'm going to do a sharp curl. So I'm going to come up like a letter U and around. So it almost looks like a number 6. And this is a spiral. Then I'm going to keep it at a point and come over horizontal. And watch this curve. Come back down. I'm going behind, and I'm just going to connect it. So it's a spiral of a curl. And I can add another spiral coming off of here. If I skip down, I'm going to start skipping down about 2 fingers. I'm going to go up, around, swirl it right off the page. Just a big spiral. This is part of the mane coming down. And I'm just going to come down and connect. And then curve around right to the spiral here. So this will give us separations of color for us. See how it formed a big curve and a curl. so that we can add different values of color in these spirals for this beautiful mane. Now I'm going to add, we're going to work on the nose down here. So let me move this up a little bit. For the nose, I'm going to kind of come over diagonal, and I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to skip, this is up diagonal. I'm going to skip a space, and then I'm going to come down diagonal, so it forms a little mouth in here. I'm going to come over diagonal to form a chin, bring it back up, and then I'm coming over and up. So over, it's kind of a dip here and up. Now this face shape, you can even adjust as you color it in. It's up to you how you're going to do this. Now I'm going to do a swoop down. So I start here, I go down and around. This forms like a free-form shape. Curve it, and then straight line. This is going to form, now I connect all together, the nostril area, just like so. So now I have this nose area, and we're going to do a graceful curve for the neck. So from this jaw here, comes up and curves. I'm going to go to the middle of this jaw, and I'm going to come down with a graceful neck. So I'm coming down straight, and then I'm going to come out toward the edge of the page here at the bottom. Let's see if you can see that. I'm going to swirl this up here so you can see the rest. There you go. Now from here, what I'm going to do is we're going to fill the bottom, and you can use flowers at the bottom. You can fill it with leaves, butterflies, whatever you want. Insects, those are really fun to add to it. On this one I added an insect flying in the sky here, coming to the flowers on the unicorn. So I'm going to show you here at the bottom. Let's see where my page is, because I want to make sure you're in the picture plane. Okay, so I'm going to do one larger flower and then some groupings of different kinds of flowers. And just use your imagination. You can even do grasses. You can even have the body come completely off. And then I do want another big, beautiful curl here too. So I'm going to first start adding that. Let's get that curl in first. I'm going to find the center of this area here, and I'm just going to swirl around almost like a C curve. Come right off the page, and then I'm going to bring it down, and this forms a point here, and I'm going to slowly curl around and right back up, and that way I'll be able to bring this gorgeous curling mane down the neck of the unicorn. And now I'm going to work on some flowers. I'm going to do some pretty big leaves coming out, so I'm going to do a straight line. Actually, it's a slightly curved diagonal line. And then I'm going to repeat it again, coming right to the point, and then I'm going to curve the opposite way. So this will be a giant leaf coming out. And then I'll be able to add some veining coming out here. Lines, decorative line on the inside. And now I'm going to work up a pretty large flower down here. So I'm going to do a center, and then I'm going to get some petals coming out. So I'm going to come out and back. Out and back. And here I'm just going to go right off the page. And now I'm going to go behind, because this leaf will be on the top. Out. And then you can even fill in smaller petals behind here if you'd like. Some smaller detail. And even on the inside, if you want to put a row of smaller ones, so it almost forms like a peony, and some small dots in the center. That way you can break up your areas so you can have maybe light pinks and dark pinks. I'm going to skip and place flowers down at the bottom, and you can do this any way you want to, or you can follow me. In this open area here, I am going to stick another flower. So I'll do a circle, and this one will be smaller, and it's going to go behind, so I'm not going to draw on top, and I'm not going to draw on top of the unicorn. I'm going to go behind it. So I'm just doing some curved shapes here. And you can even fill this with even stencils. If you have stencils of flowers, you can trace them or draw your own. Now I'm going to show you how to do a half flower here. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the center coming off the page, and then I'm going to come up and back this way, up and back this way, up. Now don't draw on top, and then at the bottom. And so this is a half flower. Put some texture on the inside. And I do want some more leaves coming out here, so I'm going to get some tall. It's a curve and curve back. And I'll put my leaf line in the middle, which is the vein of the leaf. And some diagonal lines coming down. That'll give us a nice pattern that way. And just wherever you feel you want to add another leaf, here's another leaf over here, or another flower. That's up to you. And if you want to make this more masculine, you could fill it with grass down at the bottom. I'm going to add some more leaves, I think, in here. Just another leaf coming here. And maybe another petal here, a flower petal, just to fill up some of these spaces. Right in here. And in the background here, I'm going to do some type of a bumblebee. So I'm going to do a diagonal line. I'm going to do almost like a hot dog or oval shape with a circle on top. And then I'm going to do a wing, and it's going to come from the center here. It's going to come up and back. And I'll add another wing behind it, up and back. And I can add some stripes, maybe put 2 antennae. And I think that'll do me for the wing. Now, you're going to be able to paint this in any colors you want, any color combinations. And I'll show you what some of my students have done after the end of the video. Now I did this with some first grades, and look at the beautiful pattern here, and love this mane coming up. And then she's got some gorgeous butterflies over there. So here's some first grade examples real quick. I'm going to show you. And this one even put in 2 eyes. Her eye was a little bit over to the right, so she added this second eye there. I just want to show you what first grade does, and I love this, all the insects all around it. So that's a great thing if you want to fill it with big leaves and ladybugs. That's something fun to do. Even up here, big leaves and ladybugs. And this is the one I love the pattern of her flowers. Absolutely gorgeous for first grade. Okay, so there's some examples, first grade. And here's a few more examples after one 50-minute art class. And these examples the students will finish the following week. I hope you enjoy this lesson on unicorns, and if you have not already, I would love it if you subscribed. And don't forget to hit the like button and let me know in the comments how your unicorn came out.